This tutorial is brought to you by PE Prep Engine. Free study guides and practice questions at peprepengine.com.
Week 6, Lesson 4, VAV and Multi-Zone Systems. Concept and diagram, no formula. One central air handler holds a fixed cold supply temperature, and at each zone, a VAV box throttles the airflow between a minimum and a maximum on the space thermostat. We read the terminal schematic, cover the dual maximum and series versus parallel fan-powered variants, place multi-zone and single-zone systems, and lock in the contrast with constant volume reheat. Concept 1. Read the schematic. On the left, a single air handler delivers cold supply air at one temperature. That supply temperature never changes. At the zone, a VAV box throttles a modulating damper between a minimum and a maximum airflow, and the space thermostat, marked T, drives it. When the zone needs less cooling, the damper closes toward the minimum. When it needs more, it opens toward the maximum. Notice the airflow band at the bottom. The box rides between a minimum set by the ventilation floor and a maximum set by the design cooling load. How it works. The fan and the supply temperature stay put. The VAV box varies the volume of cold air to match the zone load, the reverse of constant volume reheat, which fixes the volume and varies the temperature. The box is pressure independent. It measures its own airflow and holds the thermostat set point even as duct static pressure swings. That saves fan energy, because you move less air at part load, and it saves reheat energy, because there's no cool-then-reheat at design cooling. The catch? The minimum airflow must still meet the 62.1 ventilation floor. You can't throttle to zero. Variance. Plain single-duct VAV can starve a perimeter zone of heat at minimum flow, or burn reheat energy holding it there. 3 Handbook variants fix that. Dual maximum raises the minimum airflow for perimeter heating, while capping reheat energy at the cooling minimum. Series fan-powered adds a terminal fan that runs continuously, giving a constant discharge airflow. Parallel fan-powered adds a terminal fan that runs only on a call for heating, pulling in warm plenum air. The exam point. The series fan runs always, the parallel fan only on heating. 2 more system types. Multi-zone is a teaching label, not a handbook section. One air handler builds a hot deck and a cold deck, and a pair of mixing dampers at the unit blends hot and cold air for each zone, sending a constant volume down a dedicated duct per zone. Single zone is the simplest case. One air handler serves one thermostat zone, modulating its own heating and cooling to hold that space. No multi-zone as a concept. The single-zone air handling unit is the one with a handbook section. How the exam tests this. No arithmetic, these are system identification questions. First, VAV against constant volume reheat, the mirror image. VAV varies the airflow and keeps the supply constant cold. Reheat keeps the airflow constant and varies the temperature. VAV is good at part load because it throttles air. Reheat is poor because it cools, then reheats. Second discrimination. Series fan-powered runs its terminal fan continuously. Parallel runs it only on heating. If a prompt gives you a fixed cold supply plus a damper that varies airflow, that's VAV, not reheat. Traps. 5 ways this bites. 1. VAV varies volume, not temperature. The mirror image of reheat. Swapping them is the classic mislabel. 2. Pressure independent means the box holds its airflow set point regardless of duct static pressure. Don't confuse it with a pressure-dependent box. 3. The minimum airflow still meets the 62.1 ventilation floor. You can't throttle to zero. 4. The series fan-powered fan runs always, the parallel only on heating. 5. Multi-zone isn't a handbook section, and it's constant volume, blending hot and cold decks per zone. Multi-zone is a different animal from VAV. Quick recall. Single duct VAV is one air handler with a constant cold supply, and a damper at each zone that varies the airflow. Dual maximum raises the minimum for perimeter heating. Series fan-powered runs its fan always, parallel only on heating. The single zone unit serves one zone, and multi-zone blends hot and cold decks per zone as a concept. Golden rule, variable volume, constant temperature. It saves fan and reheat energy, but the minimum airflow must still meet the ventilation floor. Next up, Lesson 5, Codes and Standards. That completes the air system types. Now we turn from hardware to the codes behind it. We'll cover the standards the exam actually tests through the handbook, the 62.1 ventilation rate table, refrigerant safety classes, and where 90.1 energy limits fit. Framed as using the handbook's tables, not reciting standard numbers. Everything's at peprepengine.com. Cheat sheet, worked solution, and a quiz attached here. If the course helps, subscribe.
The full study guide with every equation and common exam trap is free at peprepengine.com, link in the description. Structural, civil, and electrical series are coming soon. Subscribe so you don't miss them.